Okay, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, which of course is math and money. Now, maybe you don't enjoy money that much, but money is important to all of our lives, and investing is part of what we need to do with money. Hopefully, we're all doing it because one day, some of us folks that are younger would like to be able to retire. And a great way to do that is to invest and invest. Taking advantage of something called compound interest. I'm pretty sure that most of you out there have heard of compound interest. But let's go ahead and take a look at this nice, interesting problem. The other day, I actually posted a video on compound interest. If you haven't checked that out, actually, I've done several videos on this particular topic. But that video required math skills, namely at maybe like the Algebra 1 level. This particular problem is going to require a little bit more advanced skills, more like the Algebra 2 college algebra level, but don't worry about it. Even if you haven't even taken algebra in years, stick around for a couple of minutes because I'm going to show you exactly how to solve this problem. But let's go ahead and take a look at the actual problem right now. So let's say you want to grow your account from $4,000 into $20,000, right? So how many years would you need to invest this money at 7% annual compound interest? So you're going to need a formula and a calculator to solve this problem. So go ahead and feel free to look up whatever formula you think you need to use and get your calculator out. And if you could do this problem, I'm going to put your answer into the comment section. I'm actually going to go ahead and show you the correct answer here in just 1 second. And then, of course, we're going to talk about exactly how to solve this problem. But before we get going, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TC Math Academy. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher. I've been teaching math for decades. It is my true passion to teach mathematics. And I can tell you right now, all of you could be successful in math. And I'm especially speaking to those of you that struggle in math. If you failed math before, it's not the end of the world. If you're currently failing, that can be turned around. Okay. What you need is the desire to learn math. You need some encouragement, right? You need someone, that's lifting you up. And most importantly, you need math instruction that you actually get, right? So if the teacher's teaching you, or if you're learning from some, program and you're not understanding, then you're never going to learn math. You need understandable, clear math instruction that's comprehensive. So if you need help in your current math course, or maybe some sort of special test that you're getting ready for, something like the ASVAB, GED, SAT, ACT, maybe a teacher certification exam, or if you're homeschooling mathematics, check out my math help program. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description of this video. I literally have over 100 plus different math courses that span these categories and much, much more. I'm also going to leave links to my notes in the description as well, because you need notes to study from. It's impossible to learn mathematics if you think that you're like, oh, I have a photographic memory. Listen, you got to write stuff down and you got to review things, right? So start taking better notes if you're not taking notes right now, and things will get much, much better. But in the meantime, you can use my notes if you like. And if this video helps you out, don't forget to like and subscribe, as that definitely helps me out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the answer to grow $4,000 into $20,000. How many years will we have to invest at 7% annual compound interest? Well, here is the answer. You're going to have to invest that money for about 23.787 years. Okay, so how did you do? Well, if you got this right, I mean, of course, if you had like 23.7 or 23.78, doesn't make a difference. If you're around this, well, yeah, you have to at least be at 23.7, right? Not 24, 23. Well, you'll see here in a second if in fact you got this right. But if you did get this answer correct, that's definitely pretty impressive. Certainly impressive enough to earn yourself a nice little happy face, an A plus, a 100%, and a few stars so you can celebrate your success with compound interest. Now, we are talking about compound interest. Let me go ahead and erase this here. And compound interest is part of a larger topic in mathematics called exponential growth, okay, and exponential functions. So let's just take a look at a basic equation here. So if I have y equals x squared, what type of equation is this? Well, hopefully you're saying, well, I think that's a quadratic equation, and you, in fact, would be correct. The graph of a quadratic equation is basically like a parabola, something like this, right? So if you notice here, the variable is in the base location of this power, right? This is a number, this exponent right here is an actual number. So this is a basic graph of a quadratic equation. But what we're talking about here is what we call exponential functions. So let's just turn this around and take a look at, let's just switch these variables and numbers around. And let's look at something like this, 2 to the x power, all right? Now that the variable is an exponent location here with respect to this power, this is what we call an exponential function, and this is a whole different ball game, okay, in terms of its graph, okay, the way the graph looks. And let's just kind of be nice and neat about this. Let's put a little y and x here for our graph, but an exponential function, its graph looks something like this, okay? It takes off, and this is what a compound interest is. Compound interest is an exponential growth function. And you probably have heard about this. Let me just kind of actually make this a little bit better. Like if you invest your money, it will kind of like grow very slowly and slowly. Then eventually it will kind of like really take off. And that's what an exponential growth function's graph looks like. Okay. So this is what we're dealing with in this particular problem. So again, we are talking about exponential functions, all right? Exponential functions. And when you learn math at a little bit more advanced level, again, Algebra 2, college algebra, pre-calculus, when you study exponential functions, you're also going to be studying the inverse of exponential functions, which are something called logarithmic functions, okay? So the inverse of an exponential function is a logarithmic function, and the inverse of a logarithmic function is an exponential function. And it just happens to be that we're going to need to use some logarithms to solve this problem. Now, on your calculator, if you're not familiar with logarithms, don't be overly intimidated by anything I'm speaking about. If you haven't taken math in years, if you're like, I've never taken this math, you can learn this. Just stick around. I'm going to explain this here for a second. But if you look on your calculator, you'll see a button. If you have a scientific calculator, it says log. There's another one called ln. This is a natural log. This is a common log. This is what we need to be using. Very, very, very important topic in a little bit more advanced math. But let's go ahead and get into the actual solution right now. Okay, so we're going to need a formula for compound interest. And there's a couple different types of formulas for compound interest out there. You have continuous compound interest. You can be compounding your investment, let's say biannually or quarterly. That would be a different type of variation of this formula. But it's kind of more like a simple, I don't want to use that word because I don't want to confuse simple interest with compound interest, but we're just talking about regular annual compound interest. Then this is a nice little formula to use. So here is the formula. It's A equals P, parentheses 1 plus R, and parentheses to the T power. So A is the total amount of your investment, okay, the total amount that you will have earned, but you have to put some money into your investment vehicle, and that starting amount would be the principal amount. That's our P. And then R is your particular interest rate that you're going to be investing at, and that in this particular case, it's going to be 7%, but we need to represent that as a decimal. We'll talk about all that in a second. And then T here is how long your investment run is going to run, how many years. Okay, so T is time in years. So this is the formula that you want to use. Again, there's continuous compound interest formula, which is different than this. And there is another variation of compound interest. Well, you could use that formula as well, as long as you understand how to use it in terms of plugging in. But we're not going to use that formula. We're going to use this formula. Okay, so let's go ahead and now plug in our respective values into the formula. But let's go back to the problem and just kind of pick out the information here and assign it to a variable. So what's our starting amount? Well, to grow $4,000 into $20,000, our starting amount or our principal amount is $4,000. That's our principal amount. And we want to grow this into a total of $20,000, right? So that would be our actual amount. So our P would be 4,000, And these, of course, are in dollars. We're just going to write the numbers down here. So that's 4,000. Our A is 20,000. So how many years will we need to invest 7% annual compound interest? So our rate is 7%. We need to rewrite this as a decimal. We'll do all this in a second. But the question is how many years, right? So T, this variable T is what we are looking for. Okay, so let's go ahead and plug all this stuff now into our lovely formula. Again, here is our total amount A. That's going to be 20,000 or $20,000, but we'll just write 20,000 right now. And then this P will be 4,000. This R is 7%. How do you write a percent as a decimal? So hopefully you remember your basic percent stuff. So all you need to do is divide by 100 or move the decimal point over 2 places to the left. So 7% as a decimal is 0.07. And then T is what? That's time in years. But let's just notice this formula for a second, okay? Remember, I made the comparison to this formula, y equals 2 to the x power. Notice we have this little variable up in the exponent spot, okay? This is an exponential function. Same thing here, okay? This is an exponential function because we have this variable in the exponent, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and plug this all in to our formula, and you can see we have 20,000 here for our A, 4,000 for our P, parentheses 1 plus 0.07 because R is going to be as a decimal. Okay, 7% is a decimal, 0.07, and then we're looking for T, so we're just going to write a T there. So now we need to solve this equation for T. All right, so let's go ahead and start working on that right now. All right, so what's the first thing we need to do? Well, we got to add this up. Parentheses first, 1 plus 0.07 is going to be 1.07. So we have 20,000 equals 4,000 times 1.07 to the T power. So in order to solve this formula, you need to know how to solve exponential equations, okay? And anytime you see an exponential equation, again, you need to be thinking the inverse of that, which is using logarithms. Anytime you see a logarithmic equations, you need to be thinking in terms of exponential functions. Now, at this point, if you're like, yeah, I'm studying this right now, but I'm still confused about this, let me just kind of give you some quick suggestions. If you really want to learn this stuff, I would definitely suggest that you check out like my Algebra 2 course in my Math Help program. If you're at the pre-calculus level or college algebra level, those courses, I have the same information in there as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this. So what do we need to do? What's the first step in solving an exponential equation? Well, what we want to do is isolate the base and the power. So for example, 2 to the x, we want to not have a number in front of this. So here I have 4,000 in front of this 1.07 to the t power. I want to isolate this, get this by itself. So I need to divide both sides of the equation by 4,000, okay? And when I do that, I'll get 20,000 divided by 4,000, which is 5. And then on this side of the equation, 4,000 divided by 4,000 is 1. So that's just going to be 1 times 1.07. So that's what the first step you need to take when you're solving any exponential equation. All right, so at this point in the problem, okay, we're going to have to use logarithms. We're going to have to break out our lovely calculator and figure out how to use logarithms to solve for t, okay? So when you're solving for an exponent, you're going to need logarithms again. All right, so what do we need to do? Well, all you're going to do is take the log of both sides, log of both sides. And if you haven't seen logarithms, well, this is, again, an example of how you use them. So what we're going to do is take the logarithm of both sides. So log 5, that's just simply a number. If you go into your calculator and go log 5 and you hit enter, you're going to see some decimal pop up. So, I want you to kind of just not be overly intimidated at that, oh, this is so mysterious looking. No, it's just a number that you can calculate. It's a decimal value, right? So log 5, that's a number. And then, of course, we're going to take the log of 1.07 to the t power. Now, at this point, this next step requires an understanding of properties of logarithms. One of the most important properties is when we take the log of a power, see this little t up here? I can actually drop that down in front of the log right here. That's a property of logarithms that you have to learn. So you can see now I'm at log 5 is equal to t times log 1.07. Now let's just think about this for a second. Log 5 is just a number that you can get on your calculator. It's a decimal, and log 1.07 is another number. So effectively, this is like a basic equation, like 2 is equal to t times 3, okay? This is a number, this is a number, and here we're solving for t. Super simple, right? So how do we solve for t? We'll just divide both sides of the equation by 3, okay? So don't let this stuff, make it look, any more complex than it actually is. All right, so to solve for t again, we're going to divide both sides of the equation by log 1.07, the log of 1.07. So at this point, all this right here, you should do this on your paper. Okay, don't break out your calculator yet. At this final stage, this is when you want to actually do your calculation. So get your calculator out, put log 5, divide that by log 1.07, and you'll see you'll get this answer, 23.787. And there's some other decimals, but anyways, you get the gist. This is the answer. And what is that in? Well, t is time in years. So there you go. This is how you solve a exponential equation. Of course, in this particular exponential equation, we're dealing with compound interest. So this is a little bit more of an advance of a compound interest problem that you may face, but I don't think it's like overly advanced at any level. Okay, the deal here is that you need to have the math skills, the math knowledge to be able to solve these problems that involve these particular variables, okay, or particular formulas. So obviously compound interest has a particular formula, compound interest formula, but when you're solving logarithmic or exponential function problems, there's all different sorts of science formulas, business formulas that you can use, and they pretty much work, at least your application of them are going to be very similar to your application of solving compound interest problems. But here's the deal, okay? If you're studying this stuff, you have to identify what you know and don't know. So if you're struggling with logarithms or exponents or anything of the like, then you got to just work on this stuff, right, and practice. But again, if you need help with this, additional help, I do have more videos about compound interest on my YouTube channel, but I would definitely recommend like my Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 course to really get like more formal, in-depth instruction on this topic. Okay, so with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time and have a great day.